All right. So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Saturday night tech fight. Now, sorry we are running just a minute or two behind here. There's been a crazy stuff going on today. I now have a dog running around my house, so I'm trying to adapt to this. But we are here tonight for the second Battle Royale. So if you guys do not know what that is, I will explain it to you here shortly. But I see there are quite a few people in the chat, so I'm going to greet a few people. And I want to bring in my two judges that I got with me so far. So you guys have seen him before. He's competed in the ring. He's also been a judge numerous times. He's the host of the Technically Speaking podcast. I'm sorry, it needs to be a podcast. He's the host of the Technically Speaking show. And he is also he's also has the YouTube channel as well. He is the Scott Peachy. Thank you, sir, for joining me as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I love this stuff. You know that. I eat it up. Eat it up.
I always love to have you, good sir. And then, of course, now tonight I got a new judge for you guys. Now, you guys have not seen this man on the stream yet. Now, normally I make people fight before they become a judge, but this guy's been he's been on YouTube long enough. He's done his due diligence. He is the other half of the Tech Leads. He has a channel called Cobra Told You. My man Cobra, welcome to the stream, my brother.
What's up, everybody? Appreciate it, Mike. What's up, Scott? Hey,
What's going on, Cobra?
This, man. I really appreciate it. All right.
Hey, man.
What's up, everybody? Appreciate it, Mike.
Let me get this thing unmuted. All right. So right now, you guys normally know we have 3 judges, but it's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to be a temporary judge for now until my third person, if he accepts his invite, jumps in here. But for now, I'm going to be the third judge. And what we're going to be talking about tonight, got a couple of questions lined up, and I'm going to be giving you guys some more as we go along. We're going to be talking about tech at home. Now, it's not all tech at home. There are definitely going to be questions about smartphones and computers and things like that. But, you know, we're all at home chilling. Why not just talk about some tech and have a good time, right? So let me see who all we got in the chat so far, because I see we got quite a few people watching already. So there was a good group of folks already in here before the stream even started. So while I'm checking this out, fellas, how you doing tonight? You guys ready?
Ready, man. I'm always ready for this. You know, I love this. I love a good debate. People's got to bring the energy tonight, though. The world needs it right now. With everything going on, we need the energy. Don't be afraid to step in, too. Jeez.
Especially at these uncertain times, man, this is what we need. We need to come together with however we can. We're social distancing right now, right? And this is how we're going to do it in the name of tech. Let's do this thing.
Amen.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get it popping and get it started here. So I'm going to throw my first question up. Now, these are in no particular order, folks. So the way the Battle Royale is going to work is it goes like this. I'm going to throw a question up, and we're going to leave it up for a few minutes, and I'm going to see if anybody from the chat wants to jump in. Now, I need 2 people. To jump in. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys how many questions there are because I don't want anybody waiting until the last minute to try to sneak in and get the last prize. So I'm not going to let you guys know how many we have until I'd say it's the last question. But the way it goes is this. You will jump in and you will get 1 minute to answer your side of the question. You have to choose yes or no. If your argument wins and me and the other judges decide we want to keep you in, then you will stay and your loser will be booted out. Then I will post another question. You will have the opportunity to answer. The newcomer will have the opportunity to answer as well. And we will continue until there is a last man standing. Now, I have not announced the prize for tonight yet because I wanted to make sure that I got a good one for you guys now. So we're going to go with the same concept as last time. There's going to be an Amazon gift card for the winner. So whoever gets first place will get an Amazon gift card. Whoever gets second place will get an Amazon gift card as well. So just keep that in the back of your head. I'm not going to tell you guys how much because I don't want to, like I said, nobody's going to try to play until the very end. If you want it, you got to come in and get it. So, with that being
fight
said,
for the passion, for the bragging rights, bring it. And, you know, the bonus is the prize. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, with that being said, our first question of the night is, should companies push back release dates based on early reviews? So, and I got my third judge just hopped in, so y'all got spared. I ain't got to mess with y'all, because I was gonna be harsh if it had to be me. So we got the armchair YouTuber, aka Mr. LeBaron Burton Sr. Now he is the He is the creator of Popcorn World, doing the worldoflavor.com. So, he might throw some popcorn your way if you win.
Oh,
saying.
LB.
What's good, people?
What's going on, LB?
All right.
How's everybody doing?
We good, man. We are good. So, that's the question you guys got. Should companies push back release dates based on early reviews? Now, if you think you can answer the question, I need you to let me know in the chat. I will not respond to answers in the chat. I will not respond to answers in the chat. You must come on the stream and do it. Got the tech preacher in the building, Eric from Easy Computer Solutions. What's going on? All right. Remember, guys, if you want to answer the question, let me know, and I'll send you the link on Twitter.
Get in there. Somebody jump in there. Don't be like this.
Don't be scared, guys.
Don't be scared. Eric, I see you. Eric, get in there.
Yes, Eric, you do want to get in here. You know you do. All right, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and copy this invite, and this is what I'm going to do. Anybody in the chat answering the question now, I'm going to send you the link on Twitter.
Ooh.
So let's see. I've seen quite a few of y'all answering in the chat, but you're not answering. You're not coming on the stream. So I'm shooting out invites. I don't care.
I'm over here messing with my mic because people are not jumping in. Come on.
They're going to jump in. I think everybody just has to kind of, just let it sink in for a second. Eric said he's watching us in the car. He's out filming.
Okay.
All right. Latrell said he's considering. Okay. He's considering. All right, Eric. Eric
Ronaldo.
Come on in, Eric.
Right above that. Ronaldo said he's up for the answer to the question.
All right. Ronaldo, you got a link in your DM. And Eric, you got a link in your DM as well. And wow. I didn't mean to click it on purpose.
You didn't mean to do that? You didn't mean to do that?
I was trying to click with trails, but I mean, I'm not going to say that. But
demonetized.
Yeah. Demonetization.
The first haymaker thrown.
Right.
Yeah,
she's not even judging if she's throwing haymakers. Come on.
I love Adrian. I do. I love Adrian. I do.
All right, so I sent out two links. One to Ronaldo and one to Eric. So we're just waiting on them to come on in.
Eric got that. He got that V60. He ain't trying to come up in here. He got videos.
Nah, I'm talking about Eric Drummond.
Oh,
Easy is in the car.
I mean, Easy. You said, yeah.
All right, so I got one person backstage, so I need my other person now. Come on now.
Where's Scoop at? Where's Bionic at? Somebody send Bionic a notification.
Let me send Bionic. You know what? Bionic might jump on in. All right, there we go. All right. So the question is, should companies push back release dates based on early reviews? So my first person, I got Dirty Harry's cousin. I believe that's Ronaldo. Got to be.
Yes, sir, it is.
And then I got Eric Drummond.
Yo.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute. And because Ronaldo joined first, Ronaldo shall get to go first. Now, I saw his answer in the chat, but I'm going to give him his 1 minute to argue it. So, Ronaldo, I believe you said you're going to say that they should not push back release dates based on early reviews.
Okay. That is true.
Okay. So what's going to happen is I'm going to give you 1 minute to argue your case no. And then I'm going to give Eric his 1 minute to argue the case yes. Everybody good?
Yep.
All right. Your 1 minute starts now, Ronaldo.
All right. The reason why I believe they should not push back release date based off of reviews is because 9 times out of 10, when the product does come out, such as a smart device or whether it be a headset or anything that's related to tech, things do change in the processing of it coming out. So case in point, I mean, I know right now the S20 I don't know if it's still having camera issues. I'm not really sure, but I have heard stories of people saying that their camera issues have gone away. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there are some tech that does come out, such as phones, that will get better with updates. And that's pretty much it for that. I'm done.
Okay. All right. So, Eric, you got 1 minute to say yes, they should be pushed back. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes, I am.
Your minute starts now.
Okay. All right. There's two main reasons why they should be pushed back. And number one is the product is not ready during the initial release. That's why they come out with bugs and they need to do updates to fix the product because they didn't make sure it was ready before the initial release. And number two, and I kind of hate when they do this, is why are you dropping a review for customers when they can't actually go out to the store and get the product that you're dropping the review for? So if they pushed it back, the customers could see the review and be like, okay, I want to go get that, and then go to the store and go get that. So those are the two reasons why I feel they should push it back.
Okay.
All right.
So that's your 1 minute. So I'm gonna start with LB. Who you got?
I'm gonna have to go with Eric on this one.
Okay. Cobra, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Eric on that one. He made two distinct points.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, who you got?
Yeah, I got Eric. He answered the question almost immediately. Dirty Harry's cousin, you got around to it, but I would have liked to. I'm sorry, I had to say it. That's what the name says. If you would have got around to it first and then gave me that answer and then kind of gone off of that, that would have been perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Dirty Harry's cousin, we appreciate you joining us, and we're gonna go ahead and kick you out.
All right. Let me get back to doing this job. Dirty Harry's cousin. All right, then you
Have a good one.
I appreciate y'all, man. All right,
bro.
peace.
All right, man.
All right, so we got Eric is still sitting on top, so I'm gonna throw the next question up here now. So, with all the stuff that's going on, with the S20 Ultra, big example, but we've also seen some things happen this week in the smartphone realm. Now, a lot of people criticize Samsung for coming out with such an expensive phone, not just including. We saw Xiaomi announce some new devices, and they started $1,000 for a couple of them. So the next question is, should companies continue to release $1,000 phones? With all these mid-range devices and all these sub $500, sub $700, sub $800 devices, it begs the question.
Yeah, I got this.
It begs the question, do they need to continue doing it? So with that said, all right, so Latrell said he'd love to hop in. So he needs clarification of how this stream works. Okay, so for anybody watching that didn't catch the beginning or needs clarification, this is how it goes down. I posed the question like I just did. So Eric jumped in and he answered the question. The judges chose his answer and he is remaining. Now, what's going to happen is the next person who jumps in is going to be going against Eric. So you'll have to choose your side of the question and answer it. If the judges like it, you stay and Eric leaves, and then you will continue battling the next person that jumps in. It's a battle royale, so it's a free-for-all. There's no dedicated person that stays. It's literally an in and out. If you keep answering them right, then hey, you keep on staying. But it's all up to you. So,
and this is the time to jump in right now, because if you look at Eric, he over there smiling right now. He getting weak, y'all. He putting his guard down. This is time. You feeling good about that first little win?
I need Latrell to go on and jump in.
This second win's going to be even better.
Oh man!
Oh wow!
Right.
I swear to God, if I wasn't a judge, if I wasn't a judge, whew.
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. If nobody jumps in, we might just turn this into a fight. We might just go in and turn this into a fight. Let's see. Okay, so Latrell, if you don't have an opinion on the question, then no. Don't jump in unless you're ready to actually answer the question. So yeah, I don't want to say you're doing the right thing because you never know, your answer might be good, but if you don't have an opinion on it, you can't jump in. So
what What is this? We got a bunch of peeping toms down there in the chat. I see
you-
41 people.
I'm telling people I'm giving them an Amazon gift card. 2 people gonna walk away with a gift card. I don't know. Maybe we need to up the ante or something.
Nice.
I don't know. Maybe we need to up the ante or something because just seem.
While we're waiting, Mike, how's the new dog?
It's fun. She's really chill. Not bad. Let me go get her real quick.
I'm trying to look through this chat to see who I can call out.
Yeah, because I ain't got to give away nothing. You feel me? I ain't got to give nothing away. I ain't got to. Nala, come here, girl. Come here, girl.
I see 2 phones for free down there. 2 phones ain't got no opinion on this.
Should they stop making $1,000 phones? Y'all have an opinion on this. Y'all know what's up.
I was gonna say you can argue either side.
If I put a post on Twitter, everybody have 50 million comments.
For real.
Mm.
I don't want to call nobody no cowards out here. But
I seem like the only person.
Oh, I see T out there. Uh-oh.
T.
T. Oh, technically T.
Oh, you only want to come because you see I got French fries. That's why you want to come over here. Okay. Y'all see I took the doggone wig off. She got startled. She didn't know who I was.
You came too hard, Eric. You got everybody over there shook. You came too hard, man.
I'm just saying, man. Y'all let Eric punk
Look,
y'all,
man. I learned from the last time. You got to come hard and you go home.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right.
Let me see. Who do I know? I'm gonna hit my WhatsApp real quick.
Mike must be sponsored by KLC because I'm smelling a bunch of chicken.
Man, listen.
Don't talk about food right now. You're going to make me run go get something, man.
Man, I'm all right. You know what's about to happen? I think I'm about to just go on and just make this a tech fight between Scott and LB or Scott and Eric or something. Because Scott ready to fight somebody. Y'all out here scared, man. I don't understand.
Man, this is an easy one to argue.
Hey, don't be giving it away, man. Come on, wait for him to come in first.
I'm about to go against you. I'm about to go against you on this one. I'm salivating at the mouth on this.
Man, Trappist brought up a good point. They're suppressing the live stream too. YouTube's on the trash. I actually really struggled to find it. To be honest, like I went to all the channels. I struggled to find the live stream today. So yeah, Travis is right. When he jumped in there, I was like, I went to each channel. I could not find it. So I don't know what that was.
Wait, Apple Monster just jumped in there. He don't want to get on this phone. No, he's been in there.
Tech for your needs jumped in.
Oh, Tech for your needs says send the invite.
There we go.
All right,
we got some heavyweights now.
Yeah,
invite on the way. Okay. Somebody want this gift card.
Here we go, man. Here we go.
Eric said he ready. I like it. Eric said he ready. Eric said he ain't got time to play with y'all.
Man, if I don't jump in, I won't be able to pick the position I want. So I got to start early on this. Let's go.
I like that. Play the game. Don't let it play you. That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Nah, Silverback. This ain't Jay Will and technically T. Not tonight. Not tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one, man. It's gonna be on point when that one goes.
Yeah, man.
I got Jay, Will, and Ben. That's gonna be another good one.
Oh yeah.
Lord.
I gotta make sure all the phones is charged that night. We're gonna be swapping them out.
I swear I thought Jay Will was gonna reach through that camera last time. Although Jay Will was like, I don't even know who you fight. And I was like, I'm literally sitting here. I'm literally watching the stream.
Yeah, apparently YouTube is suppressing me, so it is what it is, you know.
Hold on, is it YouTube? I thought it was just my content. It's YouTube then, right?
Yeah,
Plug this phone in real quick.
All right, cool. I go with that. Damn.
Hey, yo, Mike.
What up?
YouTube is
I
suppressing
gotta
the,
plug this phone in, man. So if I drop out, you might have to add me back in. Let me see if I can plug it in without disconnecting real quick.
It's all good. Tech for your knees is in here too, so we're gonna go on and get it going.
All
if
right, yeah.
YouTube is suppressing the stream, everybody needs to put
Share
links
it
out
out.
there on Twitter.
Yep.
All right, I'm good. I plugged it in. We ready to go.
All right. Tech for your knees. What's going on?
Yeah, can you hold it a minute?
Nah, you got a little distortion.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right. So we got 1 minute, Eric. You get to go first, since you are the reigning champ on the seat.
Okay.
So you say yes or no.
I'm gonna say no. And I'm gonna say no for one particular reason and one particular reason only. Go ahead and start the clock for me, bro.
Go ahead.
All right. So should companies release these $1,000 smartphones? No. Because as a company, your main goal is to make a profit. So if you lower the price on your product, you can push more products, thus making faster profits. If you up your pricing, you're not going to sell as many products, so you may not make as much profit. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. Tech for your knees. You got 1 minute.
So repeat that again. What is my position? Yes or no?
Your position is yes. They should continue to release $1,000
Okay.
phone.
I say yes because if the company needs to make money in order to make better products. So therefore, if they don't have the money because they're selling lower prices, how are they going to put better components? So therefore, it's not going to be a complete product. It could be, but it's also going to cost some spare because they don't have the actual money, depending on how good is the company and how profit they are. That is my question. I'm done.
Okay. Did y'all get that?
Nah, it was kind of broke up on my end. I didn't really hear it.
I had a hard time hitting Tech for your knees. Your audios are kind of.
Yeah.
You want to repeat it again?
Yeah, go on and repeat it again for everybody.
Okay, I'm gonna say yes because the company needs to make money in order to make better products. If they don't make money, how are they gonna put better components on the actual devices? No money, no go, because they don't have enough money to buy better parts. That's where I stand for.
Okay. So his answer is that they need to because it'll allow them to make more money for more advancements. Essentially, is what he's saying. So, Scott, who you got?
I mean this in the most respectful way to both of you. Both of you could have answered that better. Both of those are awful answers. And I respect you both because this is not easy to do, but you guys both, in my opinion, missed the mark by a bunch.
Okay.
I'm having a hard time. If I had to, I don't think I can pick one. To be straight up, I don't know if I could. I didn't like either one of the answers. You guys did not use all of your time. The components one from Tech for Your Needs was, I saw where you were going. I just wanted a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Yeah.
All right, yeah, that was a tough one, and I kind of agree with Scott a little bit. But I know it's tough out there. There's pressure to it. But if I had to choose one, Tech for Your Needs, your point made the most sense to me. You know, I would have gone a different route, but I'm not in the battle right now, so Tech for Your Needs.
All right, LB.
I'm with Scott on this one. I can't choose one.
You got to choose one, big fella. And Scott, I'm around back to you too.
I know. I'm going with I'll go with Tech for that one. So yeah.
I want to say y'all need to re-answer this question. That's what my result. That's where I come to.
We ain't got time for that, big fella.
Hey, it's not like you got 100 people fighting to get in the chair. So I'm like, man, this is. I wanted to argue this for you guys because you had so much to go on, and you guys gave us the most basic responses. I mean, it's in all due respect, but
yeah,
these were some really, really, really basic responses. You could have went 1,000,000 miles per hour on this one and talked all day. But if I had to choose one, Jesus Christ, I would have to go with Tech for Your Needs if I had to choose one.
Mm-hmm.
But man, can we have another minute? Maybe now that they.
Nah, we can't get another minute. Scott,
I'm gonna go with Tech. Tech for Your Needs. Same thing.
all right.
I saw where you were going. I just want a little bit more.
Eric,
All right.
you did your thing, Eric, but I'm gonna go on and boot you out.
Yep. All right, y'all.
All right,
Thanks for playing, man.
All right. See, Latrell in the chat said he wished he hopped in. Latrell, you got to hop in, man. You can't sit. Like I said, you can't sit back. All right, so we're gonna go on and keep it moving.
Mike, we can't waste it. We can't waste this question. We cannot waste this question.
We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. You know what? I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll come back to it, and I'll let you and Scott debate it. How about that?
Ooh, yeah, I got you. I'll go with that. Come on, LB. You and me, baby. We can do this.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
That's what we're gonna do. You and Scott will debate that one. All right. So, the next question I have for everybody: as BlackBerry OS died a horrible, slow, painful death, and as they came back to life in the form of Android with TCL, and they hung out for a little bit, but they slowly died another horrible, slow death. My question for you guys is: do we need a third OS? Do we need a third OS? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Why did I choose tonight to be a judge?
All right.
Oh.
Let's open up the chat and see who we got. Who's going to come and take down Tech for Your Needs?
Wanna be geek? Jump in, Dan. Thunder Dan, jump in.
Thunder Dan, do it.
Thunder Dan, he's from Australia.
Right now.
From Australia. He's arguing from the future.
I will send him the invite right now. Latrell, you're gonna keep on letting stuff marinate, and you ain't gonna have no questions to answer. Latrell keep letting everything marinate. Ain't gonna be no questions to answer. By the time you let it all marinate. Latrell over there trying to let the whole chicken marinate.
I will tell, hey T, I will take nothing from you in the chat. You want to talk junk, you get on screen and talk junk.
Oh boy.
All right, for those of y'all watching, let me throw this out there. You can join from your phone. Okay? Cobra's on his phone right now. You can join from your phone. So, you know, if you're not at home, if you're in a position where you want to answer but you think you can't answer from your phone.
You can be scared. I'm here.
He's here. He's ready.
Good or bad, I'm still here. Entertainment's entertainment.
Adrian, I am not dead. I am invincible. I can never die.
T is killing me in this chat. LB a mummy.
Yeah, I want to know what device Cobra on too, because he look like he got a cam link going on.
I got my iPhone 11 Pro.
There it is.
Front-facing camera.
There it is.
Well, that's a front-facing camera?
Yeah,
Look.
Damn, let me tell you what, iPhone video is unprecedentedly good. Unbelievable.
Yes, it is. Travis said, I've won several times tonight and I'm just watching. All right. Who's going to jump in? Somebody. Y'all going to stop acting scared of this gift card now. Yeah. You know, y'all about to make me just tell Tech for Your Needs. I'm going to send him a $50 gift card for jumping in. And I'm just gonna let LB and Scott go at it. That's what's about to happen, and me and Cobra will judge it. Bump it. Since everybody want to be scared, don't be scared of jumping in. You ain't got but 1 minute. You just gotta answer for 1 minute. That's all.
I don't know how everybody's scared, and I'm seeing all these comments down here.
It's just a camera. It's not going to kill you.
Hey, look at that. It's not gonna kill you.
There it is.
They scared of that Darth Vader voice. That's what they scared of.
Come on, bother me.
Ooh.
Simple as that.
Scared of that Kylo Ren. That's what they scared of.
Right.
I would destroy you. I will kill you and take everything from you. All right. Eric said, "Can you get back in if that's the case?" Eric, I might let you back in later.
Man, if it
I
is,
gotta give other people a chance to jump in. MC Locks in Life, boy. If you don't jump in, somebody you don't want to shame somebody, I'm finna send you the invite now. You just said you want to jump in, so I'm sending you the invite. You ain't got no excuse. You ain't got no excuse. And y'all know who that is. That's Cecil Betty, Cecil Fernando, Mr. Bonnet Man himself. He just got the invite. He just got the invite, Cat Daddy. Come on in here.
Man, last time he was in though, woo-wee, he came.
He came ready.
He
came
did.
Ready. He almost won. He almost won last time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what bonnet he graced us with tonight. Yellow, gold, pink, purple.
Cat Daddy got the invite. We're just waiting on him to jump on in. That's where I want to jump in. Anybody else, if they feel like they can jump in before he gets here, come on. But Cat Daddy, where you at? So while we're waiting on Cat Daddy to jump in,
I'm going to sleep.
I see some of the judges. I see some of y'all looking like y'all want to answer this question now.
I'm ready to go. Let's go.
I can just see LB steaming at the head, boy. LB got steam coming out between them earbuds. He ready. I'm gonna bring that $1,000 question back up. LB gonna jump out his seat.
$1,000?
The $1,000 question was, man, I would have ate both sides of that.
LB said $1,000. $1,000. LB said, I can answer that real quick. Sold by Tech. The topic is, do we need a third OS? That is what the topic is. The topic is, do we need a third OS? I need somebody to come in here and answer the question so they can see if they can take down Tech for your needs.
Mike, can we talk about how your thumbnails and all your graphics and everything's just insanity good?
I cannot take all the credit for that. I have to throw the credit for that to the management. So,
it's real good.
Yes.
Real good.
So, shout out to the management. So, all right. So let's see. All right, MC Locks in Life. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel MC Locks and Life. I didn't take no credit, man.
Hey, wait. Can everyone hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm having technical and life issues going on right now, but I made it. What's the bloody question? I don't even know what the hell we're talking about.
The question is, do we need a third OS? Tech for your needs. Do you say yes or no?
I'll say yes.
Okay. So, Cat Daddy, you have to say no. You got it?
Okay.
All right. I am going to start the timer now. Tech for your needs. Go. 1 minute.
I'll say yes because a third OS is a good investment. Competition makes other manufacturers and other companies better themselves. The more competition, the better for the consumers. So therefore, if it's done right and it's done the right way, then the more you put in, the other people want it better, the other one want to make it better for this, for that. So I'll say yes because competition equals further investment.
Okay. You got 30 seconds left. Did everybody get that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, Cat Daddy, you got 1 minute.
Yeah, what? 1 minute?
You got 1 minute.
Right now? All right. Just to let you know, no, we don't need a third OS. Every time there's a third and fourth OS, they have failed. BlackBerry. I do believe Huawei has an OS. It's going to fail. Android and Apple is it.
Am I the only one that can't hear them?
Oh, they can't hear me?
I think Cobra can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, just to let you know, Apple will do its thing. Apple has its ecosystem. Apple does great. Android, on the other hand, is really good. And the best part about Android, it's adaptable because you can put skins over it. You can put other things to go with Android as an OS. Look at Samsung, for instance, with One UI. And I believe there's Oxygen OS, which is Android. So, no, we don't need a third OS because every time a third OS comes up, it fails.
Okay.
Thank you and have a nice day.
You took all your 30 minutes on the dot. I love it.
Hey. You asked for someone to come
What
on. I come in here and bust up people left and right. So that's what I do.
All right.
We shall see.
So, Cobra, can you hear us?
I can hear y'all.
Okay. All right. So Scott, you go ahead and go.
I got Cecil.
Okay. All right, Cobra. Since you couldn't hear, I'll do the judge for your place for this one because since you couldn't hear him, because I heard what he said, I heard both of them. So, LB, who you got? Come on, LB, damn it.
You know what? I can't get past the competition point that Tech for Your Needs brought up, and that was a good point we needed for the competition. Cecil kind of repeated what has been done, but didn't give a reason of why it was done. So I'm gonna have to go with Tech for Your Needs.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be the one to be the tiebreaker on this one, and I personally, you know what? Give me just a second. Y'all know I got to give y'all suspense. Give me just a second, because I don't know. I don't know if I can answer this one. I don't know. It's just this one is a tough one. This is a tough one. So I'm not really sure. I'm trying to think how I want to do this because I like what Tech for Your Needs said, but I also like what Cecil said, and I'm gonna go with Cecil's answer, just because I do think a third OS would be good for competition. But we see what happened to BlackBerry, dead. We see what happened to Windows Mobile, dead. So competition would be nice, but competition is not. Is not gonna beat the two reigning champs right now, because I mean it is what it is. So
for me, it was when Cecil mentioned Oxygen OS because it was just it's Android, but it's different. So
right.
What it got for me.
But Oxygen is a scandal. But
I get it. But it's a different feel though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So
Thank
Cecil,
you so
you get to stay. Thank you, good sir.
Man, ain't no one going to jump in, man.
Hey,
Ain't no one going to jump in.
No.
Oh, Bionic, and he wants his chance back at Cecil.
Okay,
Chance.
Hold on one second.
Yeah. He needs his chance to redeem himself from the last time that you took him down.
All right, Cobra, you still can't hear everybody, or you just can't hear Cecil?
I can hear everybody but Cecil. Cecil, say something real quick.
Test 1 2 3. Test.
Nope, I don't even get it. Nope.
Hey, you know what? Let me leave and come back real quick. How about that?
Okay.
Never happened before.
All right. Well, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. So this is how we're gonna do this. I see Scott getting excited because he sees what I see. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun here. So normally, as the host of the stream, I hang out and watch the judges do their thing, and then I let the people come on board, and it is what it is. But since only 6 people can be allowed on the stream at one time, I'm not gonna do any more talking. I'm gonna let the judges have a little bit of fun and drag y'all in here. So I got a 4th judge decided to show up, and everything that comes out of her mouth has nothing to do with me.
What's up, y'all?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
I mean, I just didn't like what I
hello.
was seeing that was going on. So
Yes. You know I have nothing but love for you.
All right, before
I
I
don't even
jump
care.
out,
I say it. I straight up say it. I don't even care.
before I jump out, let me throw the next question up there. So I asked everybody, do we need a third OS? Next question I'm going to ask everybody is, with the LG V60 coming out and still having a headphone jack with the Hi-Fi Quad DAC, do we still need the headphone jack? Should other OEMs bring back the headphone jack? Cecil, you will get to answer this question. And I will need somebody from the chat to make themselves known, and I will send you the link. With that being said, judges, drag them.
See, who do we got in the chat?
Well, you know
I don't know,
what?
but it looks like Travis is talking shit. So put his ass in
Yeah,
here.
Travis is talking a lot tonight.
Ooh.
You know, and this can be my chance to show Travis that I can be his assistant for $125,000 a year. Show him my stuff. So come on, Travis. Let me be your TSA.
You got Savage
Calling
down
him
there.
Scoop says he wants in.
Kevin, wait, Kevin up there?
Kevin.
Oh, my guy's here.
Hey, let's go.
Hey,
Let's go then.
How about he come on? Let's go.
Yeah.
He probably know more tech than I do, but it's all good. I'm here for it.
I'm gonna message Kevin real quick.
I am here for it.
I can hear you now, Cecil. Let's go.
Oh! Look at that. Cobra can hear me now. Look at that.
Yes.
There we go. We're making moves.
All right, Kevin.
Yes.
Kevin, if you want to jump in and answer,
You
want to jump in and answer,
everyone comes to the stage. They don't know what they're doing.
I bet I've been telling Kev that he needs to get a cam link.
Cecil.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cecil, I'm about to mute you because you're talking and we can't understand you.
You can't. Oh snap!
No, we couldn't for a second. You was going in and out. So I'm about to mute you. All right, Kevin, if you want to jump in,
they said give him 2 minutes.
Okay, I don't think
he's probably putting on his. I'm guessing he's probably getting his camera set up.
I cannot send Kevin the link. So Scott, if you can, just send Kevin the link.
Okay,
it's the same one that I sent to you. So
Roger that.
All right, so I'm jumping back out, and judges, y'all continue to have at it.
I'm getting the link for Kev.
Mm-hmm. Now, what did Ms. Adrian have to say about that first round?
It was trash, but I mean, as a judge, you gotta pick somebody. You can't just dance around.
No, I mean, it wasn't worth. It wasn't.
It was my fault. I started that way.
Yeah, you did start that.
I did start that. That was my mess.
Hold on, pause. I just realized Kevin super chatted. My dude, thank you. I just noticed it at the top. I was like, wait, $25? Where'd that come from? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Then he realized that's why he's trying to win that gift card, get that money back.
Yeah, as soon as I started, like, I can't pick both. I was like, oh damn, I know Adrian's just gonna drag me for this one.
Yeah, I was in the chat dragging.
Yeah, but look,
that was a tough round.
If Scott hadn't said it, I was gonna say it.
We know that you're long-winded as well.
Hey, so
I'm long-winded. I own it.
Truth to be told, there was not a good answer to pick. I would have been lying if I said, "Oh, that was a good answer."
You were tasked with one job, and that is to pick between two people.
Pick what? I had to pick a winner. There was no winner in that round.
If there is trash, you pick the one that doesn't stink the most.
You just told me to choose between crack or cocaine.
Basically, yes. That's your job for the night.
Oh, man.
All right.
I can't win for losing.
We know that you lose very well, though.
That was a tough round, though. That was a tough round. No lie.
Yeah.
Hey.
No. I'm hanging out waiting for Kevin. This is Nala, by the way. She busted through the door and wanted to come say hi. So, Cecil, do you think you can answer this question and beat Kevin, the tech ninja?
No.
The hell if I know? I don't know nothing about tech, y'all.
You don't know nothing about no tech?
I don't know why he up here playing. Didn't he take you took Trenton out?
Yeah, he did. You did.
He took Trenton out.
And a purple bonnet. And a purple bonnet. And then when he got a green one.
Purple. Yep. That's why they call me the Purple Panther. Right now I'm wearing a pink one, but y'all, my lighting's really bad, so I didn't want to show, and I ain't feeling cute right now. So you know, I put a pretty picture out there for y'all to see.
right, well,
That's how I do.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it.
But trust and believe, I do have the pink bonnet on right now. Y'all can call me Pinky Roger.
You got another super chat.
Uh-oh. It hasn't popped up on StreamYard yet. Let me see.
Bang.
Technically, T.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what, teething is no joke, dude.
Oh, good God.
Oh Lord.
But I appreciate the super chat, bro. Appreciate that.
Hey, T, you didn't see the precedent that Kevin the Tech sent, right? Once you send a super chat, you got to join in.
Man, listen.
Hey, he got season, baby.
All right, I'm
It
jumping
ain't
out.
happening.
Okay, so you guys. All right, see, so let me bring you. I'm gonna kick you out so I can explain the rules to Kevin real quick.
Yeah, go for it. Go.
Kevin,
what up?
All right, so here's how this goes. You and Cecil, MC Locks in Life, you guys are gonna get 1 minute apiece to answer this question. So once he chooses his side of the question, it's either a yes or no. You have to go the opposite side of it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna bring him back in, and Cecil's gonna go first. So when I bring Cecil back in, if he's listening, his minute will start, unless anybody else wants to time him. So I'm gonna bring him back in.
Oh, I'm back. Just to let you know, judges, I will defer to Kevin the Tech Ninja since it's his first time here, so he can pick yes or no.
That's fine.
I will go after.
Wow.
Ooh, okay.
You might want to take a second to think hard. I don't know nothing about tech.
Is there anybody timing? Do I need
I
to
am.
time?
You know I'm about to time.
I know. Okay.
Okay, Kevin.
Could someone remind me if I have like 10 seconds left? Can I get like a kind of like
sure
a?
Can. Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you.
And
I
your
love your head
time
frame on your bed, by the way.
starts now.
What's the question?
All right, I'll read the question. Should other OEMs bring back the headphone jack? All right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Why not? I mean, as the price of devices keep going higher and higher, we're now removing and stripping features, right? Why not add the headphone jack? I don't think anyone wanted the headphone jack removed. I have never heard a person say, I want the headphone jack removed. And wireless is becoming nice. We're all using wireless here. It's very convenient. But at the same time, if you lose a wireless device, if the battery dies or anything like that, you don't have audio. So why would you actually get rid of a headphone jack, especially if it takes up so little space? I know people want to make their phones as skinny as possible, as sexy as possible. But now even Apple is making the phones a little bit thicker to get you better battery life.
10 seconds.
So why not put a headphone jack back in there? And that's how I feel.
Okay, Cat Daddy, your time starts now.
Well, you know what? OEMs don't need to bring back the headphone jack because this is part of evolution. It's like asking, hey guys, can you bring back record players back? You know, let's bring back the old first generation CDs that were like bigger than records. Okay, let's even go back just a little bit sooner. Let's go back to DVDs. Let's bring back DVDs, which they've almost practically got rid of because there's Blu-ray now. Headphone jacks is going a thing of the past. Yes, there's wireless out there, but yes, you can also use a USB Type-C or I'm not too sure about Apple with the lightning cable with headphones. It's not a headphone jack. It's not headphone jack quality, but it's there. The headphone jack is gone.
You have 10 seconds.
That's just a wave of the future. Thank you.
Okay, so Scott, who are you picking?
I was a little confused with Cecil's laser disc and
Scott, if you just don't give us an answer.
I'm going with Kevin. I did that on purpose for you. I swear to God, I did.
Cobra.
All right, so I'm gonna pick Kevin, and just because Cat Daddy, if you would have said if they gone from
okay,
DVDs
Cobra,
to
LB,
streaming,
LB, LB.
No, you can't go from DVD to streaming because I want DVD, Blu-ray, then streaming. So
Mike, new Cat Daddy. Okay. LB, who you taking?
I gotta go with Kevin. I gotta go. You can't quote archaic technology
Okay,
that
we don't
nobody
need your
wants.
explanation. Mike, kick him out. Let's go.
Savage.
Streamlined. Let's do
Just
this. Then.
done. Savage.
I had some
I won't
insightful
take
words
me,
to
Mike,
say,
back.
but I'll just save it.
She mean.
I'm dying over here.
Next up.
Is Bionic in? Is Bionic coming?
Mike talking and we can't hear him.
I can't hear you.
I had the blue muted. My bad. You know, I got Kevin the Tech Ninja here, and I got Scott Peachy here, and I don't know,
I think
man.
they should fight.
I just feel like being diabolical, man. I almost feel like
Let's go.
Oh, you
I
want?
think
Let's
they
go.
should fight.
like making it happen.
Oh, you want to do this?
I mean,
Let's go. I ain't afraid of nobody.
I mean, we can go ahead and just we can go ahead and just throw this up there.
Loser has to leave a super chat.
Ooh,
Travis
I
got
can do
they
that.
just super chat.
Travis,
$5.
Ooh,
Let's put 5 on it. Let's put 5 on.
This is
Make
so
it fun.
funny that this question popped up because Kevin and I were talking earlier today about this.
Travis said, "Hold this super chat." Thank you for your little super chat, sir. I appreciate it. Sir. All right.
I dropped the 50 spot.
So here's what we're gonna do. This question is the iPad Pro truly a computer? So I heard you gentlemen were talking about it earlier today. So
That's a good question.
Scott,
Yo.
you get to go first.
Oh, do I get a minute?
You get now. We're go now. I'm gonna give you guys normal rounds. I'm gonna give you a normal round.
What's the normal round?
Normal round is 2.5.
2. Oh, God. Okay, 2.5. All right.
2.5. Which side of the argument are you gonna choose?
I'm going to say that it is not a computer.
Okay.
Now, Scott, don't be a loser like you were last time. You know you haven't won yet.
Wait, what? I know I haven't won yet.
So you got to bring it home this time.
Oh, I know that. I
Okay.
know that.
All right, Scott, you got
Yeah,
2.5 minutes. Go.
The iPad is nowhere near an actual computer. What the iPad, it barely now just got the functionality with the touchpad and the keyboard, but the idea is it's still it's hampered by the applications that the iPad itself has. Now, you can go look at the Adobe suite. Adobe Lightroom works, but people don't really use Lightroom so much. They use things like Darkroom and things of that fashion. The idea that if you want to do Photoshop edits and things like that, it's still not nearly as good as it is done on a MacBook itself. The idea is like, yes, apps are eating the world, but the problem is the developers aren't taking the time to do that because they have to continuously develop for these things that are just going to be out of date when the time comes. The idea is like when I need to do some hardcore processing, I still need a full-size keyboard and laptop. I can't get away with the fact that I have an iPad that I can tote around. For me, it's the idea of when I need to have a hardcore thing right now. Perfect example. If I want to do 4K, anything at all related to 4K consumption from a media processing perspective, if you put that in an iPad, that iPad just chokes up and stops. Forget the fact that we're eventually getting to the point where we're getting into 4, 6, 8K. There is 0% chance that they're going to be able to hold that type of media in an iPad. No way. If you are at all a content creator, you have to have some type of machine like a MacBook or a PC in order to do that. Now, let's talk about augmented reality. People are getting into different augmented reality. You get the Vive, you get the Oculus Rift. Again, you still need a fairly powerful PC in order to pull something like that off. Cool. The iPad's great for grandmas and things of that nature who just want to do some light web browsing and FaceTime with their grandkids. But if you want to do high tech, anything at all related to anything that requires power, you have to have something like a MacBook Pro, or a PC. Otherwise, it's just going to choke down and completely fall apart. Yeah, it's cool that Apple finally got on the Pixelbook train that's been 2.5 years to where you have a keyboard and a nice touch mouse pad. But come on, that's 2.5 years too older. What are you going to tell me about 4 years? The iPad's eventually going to be an actual tablet like a real boy and girl? I don't think so. You're now getting to the point where you still have to have a full machine if you want to do anything related to Apple. So yeah, You go do your FaceTime with your grandma and your grandkids and things of that nature, and I'm still going to take my full-size MacBook Pro in order to do the things that I need to do from a creative perspective.
All right. That was all.
Adrian, was that better?
Yes, that was.
There you go.
All right, Kevin. So your side of the argument will be it is truly a computer. Are you ready, sir?
I was born ready.
All right.
Oh.
2.5 minutes. Your time starts now.
So first of all, Scott, you obviously are a person who's never truly used an iPad. So let me break something down for you a little bit quickly for you. First and foremost, we have to define what a computer is. As the guy who I beat last time mentioned that things evolve and change over time. I think the way we compute has changed over time. Before we had these huge machines that can only calculate a little bit of information, enough that a pocket calculator can do. And now we have these small miniature products that can do things like put people on the moon. So let's kind of talk about an iPad and what it does and where you were wrong. First of all, you said things will bog down an iPad. I have never once heard of an iPad bogging down for doing things. I do video on the road. When I'm on the road, I bring my iPad and I'm editing my 4K videos on my iPad. So your argument about it bogging down because there's 4K content and all those things, that's done already. You're already wrong right there. Secondly, you talk about augmented reality and VR. You need to have some crazy computer. The Oculus Quest is standalone. It doesn't need anything else but it by itself. You put on your head, that's it. You don't need to plug it into a computer. And also the iPad, as far as specs, is beating most computers when you do benchmarks. Okay, so let's talk about what an iPad actually is and why it is indeed a computer. What do most people use their computers for? Checking the web, going online, typing up stuff. You can do that on an iPad now. Of course, there's going to be some very specific things that you need a laptop for, but that number has gone down significantly and the iPad has gone up because the way we use the internet is so much different than the first time you used the internet, Scott. I think you're a little too old for this conversation in the first place because right now you're showing your age. You're showing your age right now, Scott. The iPad is indeed a computer. You can have an iPad, extended battery life, and it's just something you can use for the whole family. You can dock it. You can take it with you wherever you want. It's flexible. You need to get out the mindset of what a computer truly is and look to see how people are computing. I don't need my whole time.
That's my man. That's my man. It's about time you show up for this chat. Jesus Christ, where the hell have you been? I'm out here super chats with
Scott, now you know you can't be praising him now because that will disqualify you. You can't be doing that. All right. So we got us a tech fight going on. I love this. All right. LB, we're gonna start with you. Who you got?
Wait. I thought we get wait.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I forgot.
Rebuttals.
A real tech fight. My bad. All right, hold on. So with that said, y'all got 5 minutes to do your thing. I know Kevin might not need it, but y'all got 5 minutes to do your thing. So Scott, defend yourself.
I'm gonna look at my crystal ball here because evidently I'm old and things of that nature. So let me tell you, when you do your 4K on the road, and you're probably using, my guess is probably LumaFusion, are you still doing the exact same type of stuff for your content that you normally do on the Mac that you have at home? Or are you just doing light editing?
I can show you two different videos. You would not notice a thing that's different about it. There is nothing that is different about it. Of course, you're not going to do some hardcore color grading or anything like that, but you can do it.
Seems like it's a big deal to me. Like the color grading seems like it's a big deal. Like it's not the same though. It's not the same. If you can't do the same amount of color grading,
no.
The same amount of other things. That's different.
I can do it. I choose not to do it because I don't have to do it when you're on the road editing. It's about speed and functionality. It's not about color grading, getting everything perfectly. It's not that I can't do it. There's many people who use LumaFusion as their main editing software and their stuff looks good. It's about knowing how to use the tools that you have in front of you, not the specific tool.
I don't disagree with that, but my point is the idea, if I want to do some of the heavy lifting, color grading and things of that nature, I still have to have a actual real big boy computer to pull it off, right? I can't just do it on an iPad.
Of course.
But you still need a computer to do it. That's it.
So name something else, because editing video and color grading and 4K content is something so rare that many people don't even do. So name something else that you need a computer for besides an iPad.
Yeah, so if I do a lot of computational data analytics, I still need something that's pretty robust to do that. I don't have the ability to go. You can use it in AWS, but if I want to do any type of hardcore data analytics, I have to have a fairly robust developer machine in order to do some of those AI and machine learning type things. You can do some of that in the cloud, But if you're going to go to AI and machine learning, you definitely need a beefy laptop. Otherwise, you're going to chug everything down.
Once again, a very specific use case. I'm talking about majority of people, an iPad is a computer for them. Of course, when you talk about very AR and editing 4K video, that is such a small percentage of people that do that. And of course, you need a very specific machine to achieve that goal. Yes, of course.
But the question isn't necessarily, is this good for an average consumer? Is the iPad a computer? For me, the iPad, no. The iPad is a tablet. For me, when I say I need a computer, I need those hardcore stats in order to pull it off.
Okay.
I have to have things like a really beefy 16, 32, 64 gigs of RAM in order to do the things that I want. So from a data and analytics perspective, from, again, that 6K, 8K, 4K type stuff, if I have to have a beefy machine, I have to have a beefy machine in order to do that. But especially when I'm going into AI and machine learning, I definitely need a beefy machine to do that. You can do some of that stuff in AWS or the iPad, but that's, again, all web-based type things. Unless you're paying for AWS services, which a lot of consumers are not going to do, you're not going to be able to do those types of situations because there's an associated cost when you're chugging up AWS servers in order to do that. So for me, the iPad is not a computer. The iPad is a tablet, and it's probably great for the majority of the consumers. But the question is the iPad Pro truly a computer? For me, it's not, because what I need a computer for is things like, again, that data analytics, the 4K, the 8K, and all those big beefy things. I can do a lot of stuff even
Scott,
on my mobile device, though.
You're still missing something. The question is not, is the iPad Pro truly a computer for Scott? Is it truly a computer in general? In general, just because it's not a computer for you doesn't mean it's not a computer in general.
The question's not a computer for me. Is it a computer? It's not a computer.
It is a computer. Just because you can't do your two hyper specific things does not mean it's not a computer. It doesn't work for you specifically, but it works for majority of people for what they do when they want to compute something. That's the point of a computer. You want to compute things, and with an iPad, you can compute pretty much anything but a couple of very specific use cases that you just named 2 seconds ago. Regardless, though, no matter how you look at it, Scott, an iPad is indeed a computer. If you go back 5 years ago, what could computers do? What can an iPad do? An iPad can do more than computers from 5 years ago. Were those not computers? An iPad can do those things now. You could plug it up to a monitor. You can have a monitor, have a mouse and keyboard. What more do you want besides your two specific things you made up today? Let me know. And that means it's over.
I don't even know how much time's left. I looked at Adrian's face. I thought the time was over.
No. She said the battle was over.
No. I just look at her face. I thought the time was over.
You got 10 seconds if you want to try something.
Nope, I'm done.
All right. Adrian,
still a tablet to me, not a computer.
We'll go with you first.
Kevin.
Cobra.
Scott, you had the advantage by starting, but then you chose no. Kevin made way more points. Kevin.
LB.
Kevin, you chose the wrong side of the argument against the wrong person. That's Kevin. That was, yeah.
So who you choosing, LB?
Yeah, I was going to say, you said Kevin, and then you said the wrong side of the argument. So who'd you pick?
No, I said it's Kevin. I said.
Oh, I thought you said Kevin.
Okay. All right. God, that's a knockout. But you know how the knockout goes. You get a chance to come back. So you get a minute and a half to answer this question here. Should Apple release the iPhone 9? Now, the reason I ask this question is because with everything that's going on right now, you got to ask the question, are people really worried about buying a new phone in these times, uncertain things going on in the world? So just curious what you think as if Apple should release the iPhone 9. So what do you think, sir?
So I do think they actually should release the iPhone 9. I wish they didn't call it the iPhone 9, but that's besides the point. I do believe they need to have that budget type iPhone that's out there.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Minute 30. Go.
Okay. So I'll count the 10 seconds that I just talked about that before. But yes, they should release it, not call it that, but they should call it basically a cheaper iPhone. And the reason is with the $2 trillion stimulus is going to come out. This is eventually going to end. The coronavirus stuff is going to stop. So eventually life will become normal. And it's going to be a good entry point for Apple to have somewhat of a mid-tier type device for when people are ready to spend that stimulus check. I mean, eventually, right now, you're 100% right. People do not want to spend anything right now, but we can't stop in terms of saying, hey, I'm going to buy something when the time does come. So let's assume that our stimulus checks hit in July. Let's say that Apple can push this thing off until June. Might be a slow, sluggish start in the beginning. But when you have a mid-price point, you're coming up to peak smartphone season when you're getting into that July, August, September, October timeframe. It really presents pretty well for Apple to go, hey, I have a moderately priced iPhone, again, called an iPhone 9, and you can actually go out and buy that with some of the stimulus money that you have. Now, I'd like to say that people would not spend the stimulus money on those type of things and pay the bills, but let's be real. The majority of folks that might still be working will just try to get a better deal and go with an iPhone 9.
All right. So, judges, we'll start with LB.
He's good to go. Yeah, he's good to go.
All right, Adrian, did he bring himself back?
I really didn't pay attention to his answer. I'm going to say bring him back in here because I'm here for the shits and I want to see a fight. Let's go.
All right, Cobra, did he bring himself back?
Wow. He earned his way back. Good points, man. Nice job, Scott.
Nice.
All right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just keep this rolling with Scott and Kevin. Because Scott has been wanting to smoke for a while now, so who better to give it to him than Kevin?
I know, right?
You woke the bear.
Please. Just wait till we get on that golf course, son.
So we're gonna keep it going along the iPad because
hey, we got a super chat from El Jefe. I don't know if y'all saw that.
Yeah, super chat from El Jefe, $25. Thank you, sir, for the super chat for the entertainment value. Glad we could provide you some entertainment during this quarantine. All right, so. Since we're kind of talking about the iPad, let's just keep it going with the iPad. So I'm going to ask this question here. Should you buy the iPad Pro over the MacBook Air? So, Kevin, since you knocked it out, you get to choose your side of the question, and you get to go first.
Yeah, sure. I'm saying yes.
Okay. Kevin is saying yes. So you got 2.5 minutes, and your time starts now.
Okay, so we just discussed a few minutes ago as far as is an iPad indeed a computer? So is the iPad Pro better than the MacBook Air? Let's take a look at a couple things. I would argue and say the iPad screen is better than the MacBook Air screen. I would argue that. Argument number two, an iPad Pro is cheaper than the MacBook Air. Argument number three, what I would say is that the iPad Pro has a better battery life. So if you want to compare these two products side by side, the iPad Pro has better hardware as far as that. Now, of course, you're going to talk about operating system. Scott, you're going to talk about computating computer and very specific things that only I do. But once again, if someone's asking me this question, I'm going to assume that they're using this product as a normal person would use it. And the iPad is going to do everything that a MacBook Air would do, even a little bit better. Of course, you don't have Mac OS, but a lot of people spend time in a web browser anyways, or in specific apps. And if you're on your MacBook and you want to do Instagram or something like that, your experience won't be as good as an iPad. A lot of people are saying, I don't like tablets because of a keyboard. Now you got the keyboard. I don't like touching it, and just now you got the trackpad. I mean, everything you want in a computer, you can now get in your iPad, and it's also cheaper. Also, you can get LTE on it. You can get Wi-Fi on it, and you can edit video. Everything you really want to do on an iPad, you can do on a MacBook as well. And also the apps are cheaper on an iPad. You have more accessories, more compatibility. Apps actually get updated faster on an iPad than they do on Mac OS, and things look a lot better on an iPad as well. So of course you should buy an iPad Pro over a MacBook Air. And also you could keep an iPad a lot longer than a MacBook Air. I have an iPad that's 6 years old, still getting consistent updates. It still works pretty great. And I don't know many MacBook Airs that are out there that still have these things. They have keyboard issues, and there's so many different ways a MacBook can get destroyed over an iPad. An iPad, you put a case on it, you take it with you, and that's it. You don't have to worry about anything breaking on it too much. A MacBook has actuating keys, and we know the keyboard on MacBooks have been really bad lately. So they just changed it recently. You have different ports and different ways for it to break over the time that you've had the product. With the iPad, it's just a screen. You protect the screen, you got a product forever. You could pass it down to someone else once they get a little bit older, like a kid or anything like that. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. I have a MacBook Pro. I have an iPad from 2 years ago. I still use it. never stop using it, and it still works just fine. A laptop you're going to have to get rid of after a couple years, especially if you're doing your hypercomputing analysis data thing that Scott likes to magically do.
All right, Scott. You know your side of the argument.
Man's attacking me for what I do for a day job.
Hey,
you got 2.5 minutes. Scott, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go.
So I actually had to look this up from an iPad Air, or excuse me, a MacBook Air perspective. So there's a couple things that I want to talk about from the price perspective. So from a price perspective, if you want to get a 256 gig 12.9 inch iPad, you're spending a little over right about $1,100. But if I want to go to a 13.3 inch high res Retina display, which is actually what's on the Air, I can actually get that for a little bit less. So if, again, I want to go down to something along the lines of, if I want some performance that I need, I have the ability to go all the way up to, 2 terabytes of storage as well with that. So if I think about it from the perspective of, I'm buying this for maybe a child and it's their very first computer or something that goes to college, and I want to be able to have them on messages or FaceTime, but I also want them to have the ability to do their homework. I have the ability to give them a MacBook Air, and I can do that. So they have 2 terabytes of storage for a little bit less money than what they have there. Again, I don't have to worry so much about putting a case on an iPad because I can just close the laptop and it would be fine from that perspective. Now, Kevin did mention the fact that the keyboard issues were there on the MacBooks before. I believe on the Airs, they've gotten away from the butterfly keys, so they're a little bit better. I think they went to more of the scissor mechanism in their actual keyboards than they had before. So now I have the ability to spend a little bit less money, and I have exactly what I need for a kid that's going from an education perspective. I'm really getting down into that niche type situation. Yeah, I guess. But my perspective is there's a lot of school districts that are using not necessarily iPads, but there's a lot of school districts in our area that are using the MacBook Airs, which is great from a parent perspective, because I don't have to worry about the kids dropping it and breaking the cameras or breaking the screens that way. Again, a lot of the same features that you're getting in the MacBook Air, you're getting out of the MacBook Pro. You still have the touch. The speakers a little bit better than they were before, so I don't have to worry too much about that. You get a nice security chip as well. Again, those things exist in the iPad, but again, if I'm a parent and I'm looking for these particular things, the MacBook Air is the very perfect thing to send a kid off to college or go into high school education or something like that, rather than a actual iPad. I will admit that the speakers on the iPad, I believe, are not as good as the speakers on either a MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro. So that might be something that gets away with it. You get a little bit more volume, and you also get a lot more ports from the perspective of, I have USB Type-C Thunder ports on both sides of that. Am I out of time?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at another screen.
You are good. You are good. You are good. All right.
By the way, that's very hard to argue against. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well, you got 5 more minutes to do it, so go.
So all right, so
Kevin,
it's
go for
it. I will go for it. You actually made my point several times over, so I do appreciate that. So yes, they did change the switches, which is fine, but at the same time, Apple has not consistently made a good keyboard in years. I don't trust them with $1,000 for them to do a good keyboard.
Why would I want to buy an actual keyboard if you don't trust them to put it on my iPad Pro? Why would I buy that keyboard either?
It's $250, and there's going to be a third-party keyboard I can buy versus buying $1,100 product versus buying $1,100 product where it's stuck to it. But
you just told me it wasn't good.
But you don't have to buy a whole new. You don't have to buy a whole new product though, because you could buy a third-party keyboard. You don't got to buy a whole new product. Okay, the keyboard is not tied to an iPad.
A whole new product.
But it's not tied to the actual laptop, sir. And then you mentioned closing the laptop, how everything is fine and good to go. Well, you close the laptop, it's heavier, it's thicker, and you know what? It's not good to go. You put it in, you put it into a bag, you put the bag down, it's going to crack. When you close a laptop, actually a laptop is more vulnerable. Laptop is more vulnerable when it's closed, by the way.
Well, if you put an iPad Pro with a keyboard and a MacBook Air side by side, I'll bet you that the Air is probably thinner. So I don't even want to hear that.
Guess what? I will give you that point because you need a couple. Okay. Once you close them down in the first place, the laptop is more vulnerable. That's the most vulnerable you're going to get when you have a laptop closed, because the pressure on top of the lid can crack a laptop. I've seen that many times working in IT.
You're literally saying the same thing. You just put the keyboard on top of the iPad Pro. You can do the same thing. It's the same.
You can do the same thing. It's not though, because the type of screen technology it's using, and it has the glass in front of the screen in the first place. A laptop keyboard has the pressure points on the side when it snaps right into the bezel, where it's a little bit different. It's not curved all the way around like an iPad is. I've taken them apart. You can see the videos of people taking them apart. They're put into the case a little bit differently. It has the glass surrounding it versus kind of snapped in on a MacBook Air.
Now, how in the hell is someone average going to ever know that? The idea is like, if you close this thing like a regular person does, it's going to crack either way.
It's not about knowing it. It's about being protected when you're using the product. You don't have to know these things, right? But just know that it's protected when you close it in a freaking, just when you close it in your iPad case. It is protected.
Laptops have been around forever. It's not like it's magically like, oh God, the MacBook Air, the laptop breaks when you close it. Laptop's been around.
I'm not saying it's going to break
time.
you close it. I'm just saying that's a weak point. That's a weak point. That's all I'm saying.
You made it.
I'm not saying it's a great point. It's just a weak point.
You made the
point.
No.
You mentioned when you close it and you close it as secure. It's not.
And then you just said that it wasn't. And then you just said it was a weak point.
No. You even bring it up in the first place made it weak.
Why did you bring it back up then if it's a weak point? Because you're still wrong. And
I had to let the people know it was weak.
But it wasn't.
I had to let them know. It is my obligation to let people know that it's weak. It's my obligation, Scott. I care about the people. I'm for the people.
But you have to be right. You're arguing in circles. It literally makes no sense. You just said this point.
It makes a lot of sense.
Let me bring it up for you.
It actually makes a lot of sense.
Literally doesn't.
It makes a lot of sense.
You just
it makes tons of sense
and then brought it up.
So how many kids are going to school for hyper analysis computing on the AWS server?
I literally just said it would be great for kids going to school. Could be anything.
I'm saying, what if they're going to school for that? Would they need a MacBook for that?
It would be better.
I do agree.
You just agreed with it then. You're like,
no,
if it's better,
I agree.
If you agree
for that 1% of person that's going to do that one specific thing.
Look, you're coming on the data and analytics side here. That is definitely not 1%. That is way more than that. But I'm gonna back off on that because data and analytics.
Do you have the data analytics to prove it, sir, Mr. Data Analytics?
Yeah, absolutely, you can. You can 100% prove that there are more kids going to school right now for data and analytics type degrees than many, many other types of things. 100%. Combined with what? Like business, literature,
everything else. What I'm saying,
sociology. So what do you want?
What I'm saying is an iPad will be fine for even college classes because all people are doing are typing papers, doing research and things like that. During lab time, they have specific computers for you to use during lab time. If it's something so hyper specific, if you're doing something like CAD, if you're doing something like, what do you mean? What college you go to?
I didn't have that.
I went to Oakland University, bro.
I went to Ohio State, and we did not have that.
And that's why you didn't have it, because of where you went.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
I love Ohio State.
Yeah, we didn't have
I love Ohio State. I love Ohio State.
I was going to say, we didn't have that Ohio State. We had to bring our own.
Poor.
Hey, it's a public institution. It's a fine, upstanding institution. Thank you.
All right. Time's up.
Kevin, you know I got nothing but love for you, brother.
No.
Hey, same here, man.
No, Scott.
Oh, no, come on.
I'm just All right. We're going to start with Cobra. Who you got on this one?
Hey, Kevin came out swinging, but Scott, you came back strong, man. I get this round to Scott. Good job, man.
Thanks, bro.
All right. LB, who you got?
I give 3/4 of that round to Kevin and 1/4 to Adrian because she answered. I'm trying to somehow she was in the debate.
LB, who you got, man?
Kevin.
All right. Adrian, who you got?
I'm going with Scott for one reason only. Kevin, in that rebuttal, you sat up there and you said, I can agree with that. And I cannot let that off the hook. So I got to give it to Kevin.
What?
I mean, to Scott.
I agreed on one specific thing he said.
I know, but why you had to say that?
He needed it, but okay. Okay, that's fine.
Hey, that was a round, though. That was a round. Nice job, y'all.
All right, so we got the next one.
Like the way this started, was like Kevin and I had to come in hot.
All right, so like I said, we're gonna keep it going with the. So Scott, since you won that round, you get to start this one.
Savage, don't nobody care if you disagree with that rule. Shut your ass up.
So what we got here is, should Apple refresh the iPad Pro yearly alongside the iPhone? What you gonna say, Scott? What you gonna say?
No.
Okay. Oh man, look at Kevin's face.
Oh, that's a play.
All right,
he's sandbagging.
Scott, if you're ready, your time will start now.
So there's a lot of things that you can do. We've talked a lot about on this particular show where it is now a software game. So the idea is, like, from a beefy perspective, I know that I just argued a little bit ago, but now that's a moot point because it's a previous question. The iPad Pro has a lot of guts inside of it that can handle a lot of things. So the idea is, because this is a software game in today's day and age, you don't have to refresh the hardware on an annual basis, because the hardware itself is more than enough to be sustainable for 2 or 3 years. You could see this a lot with their MacBook Pro, with their Mac Pros that they had. It was like 5 years before they saw a refresh. And I still use a Generation 1 iPad Pro that can still handle, on a very light measure, the LumaFusion that I need to do when I'm editing out in the streets. So the idea is, like, even an original iPad Pro or a Gen 2 iPad Pro, because I have one of each of those things, because of the software updates that they get, are more than enough from a hardware perspective sustainable. So they don't need to refresh an iPad on an annual basis, simply because it would just be overkill. You got great iPad Pencil support, even in the Gen 1 that I have, and the Gen 2, same great iPad Pencil support. And I don't have to chug along I can do computational data analytics against me on the iPad Pro Gen 1 or Gen 2. Now, is it a little bit slower than I would like it to be? Sure. But I don't feel right now that I have to go out and get a brand new iPad Pro because it has 2 cameras on the back. It's more than sustainable for me because of those software updates. Again, software game. The developers are taking good care of those particular apps that they have. A lot of the updates that they need are going to be on that app side. You still get the great security updates from Apple. I don't have to worry about the hardware failing because Apple makes a great product, but I don't feel like it really necessitates to be refreshed on an annual basis.
All right, so you good?
Yep.
Okay. All right, Kevin, you got your 2.5 minutes. You know your side of the argument, sir.
Yep.
All right. And go.
All right. So yes, they need to refresh it every year. So Scott, I'm going to pick on you. You mentioned that all your old Apple products, right? Edit on the go with Lumafusion because it's a great computer, it's amazing, right? And I totally dig it. But when it comes to upgrading it, don't you want something new and fresh? Like, if I bought an iPad 3 years ago and I'm ready to upgrade it, I would like it to look different. I would like it to feel like a new product. If you buy a new iPad every single year, it feels like you have the same product over and over again, where it's just a small spec bump, right? I'm not asking them to overhaul everything every single year, but yeah, why not give us something new every single year? Why not switch it up a little bit? Why not make it a little bit thinner, a little bit thicker? Why don't you change some things up? I mean, a refresh doesn't have to be you strip it all the way down and redo everything, but incremental changes to make the best possible devices. So many times we see Apple scared to do new things, right? They wait so many years and they make this one little change here and there, which is kind of annoying. Why not every year put the best tech in it? Give me 5G when it's available. Give me a 4K screen, give me 90 hertz every single year when new technology is available. I want Apple to put it in their products. As much as we're paying this Apple tax, I think Apple should go ahead and put it in there as soon as it's available. Look, like I said, everything doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to get rid of the whole iPhone every year and replace everything. But why not put new specs in it? Why not put new hardware in it and do new things to it? Because people want to spend the money. People are begging Apple to do certain things. They're begging everyone to allow them to spend money. So why not give incentive for people who are buying new products every year to keep buying these new products? Why not someone that has an old iPad? Why not give them an incentive to actually upgrade their old iPad to a new one instead of keeping it, as Scott said, forever chugging along? Why do that? Apple, you make so much money per year. Put that money into R&D and start pushing out better products every single year to make us happy.
All right. So y'all got your 5 minutes, and it starts right now.
You mentioned the Apple tax. This is definitely something that I want to talk about. Is I don't want to pay the Apple tax every year. So let's assume that I'm going to trade in my old first generation iPad Pro, and I'm going to get maybe $360 out of that thing, maybe. And that's being generous. It's probably more like 300 or 275 when it comes to Apple. Then I have to, on top of that, pay another $1,000 basically to get the model that I already have in my Gen 1. And I get a good spec bump from the first one. But now the moderate spec bumps in between, I'm still going to be paying that Apple tax because at best they're going to give you what, 480, I think $480 right now for the right iPad Pro that's out on their website. So if I get $480, I'm still going to be out like $750 to go to a moderate upgrade like you just talked about. I don't want a moderate upgrade. If I have something that works already for me, I don't want to spend $500 or $750 for an Apple product that works perfectly fine for me.
Scott, regardless, you're going to pay the Apple tax. No matter what Apple's going to do, no matter how they push out a product, you're going to be paying the Apple tax. And when I buy a product, I don't consider trade-in value that fast because that's just not what I do when I buy something. I don't think about trading it in. Now, I will make a point to say that when you do buy a product and they do refresh it every year, maybe you're going to want to maybe you're going to want to trade it in to get the next one next year. But since Apple is always incrementally upgrading their product, why not wait until you're ready and get a huge spec bump and not these little incremental updates as you see? You're going to get the best things in this iPad every single thing.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Should not refresh it every year. That's exactly the point I'm trying to make.
No, that's not the point. You're trying to make that point, but you're not doing a great job of it. What I'm saying is
you just
that when you
I don't have
no.
You just said why don't you just wait to get
every year,
which is for me several years of my iPad Pro at this point.
So several years, but can you imagine when you buy your new iPad that it's going to have the current stuff in it now and not stuff that's a couple years old? Because Apple doesn't put the newest tech in everything. They always wait. They hold back. Like I said, iPhone doesn't have 5G yet. iPhone doesn't have USB-C. We all know it's going to come, but they keep waiting and pushing it back instead of putting it out when it's available. Apple wants to kind of put everything in the product at one time. So it's like, hey, the brand new iPhone, here are 10 new specs instead of every year. Hey, here's the iPhone. Here's what we add to it. Here's what we change to it. Every single year, there should be something and not a software change, as you mentioned. Every single year should be some new hardware, some new actual changes that we can actually use. It's something that makes sense to upgrade.
The problem is like it's a software game. Hardware is only going to get you so far. You can look at the Samsung S20 Ultra. Hardware's are going to get you so far, but from an iPad perspective, you just made the point for me is I would rather wait several years before I upgrade from an iPad Pro Gen 1 or whatever gen you have to go to the next generation because it works good enough for what I have. A lot of the times I don't have to have the luxury of buying and doing very incremental updates because the incremental updates are not worth it from a monetary value for me. I just get to the point where, okay, I'm now 4 or 5 years removed from an iPad Pro upgrade. Maybe the iPad Pro died or whatever it is. Okay, cool. Now I can do that. But that doesn't translate to an annual refresh rate for me on an iPad Pro. It's art.
Listen, we're talking Apple. These are luxury tech products, right? No one needs to have these things. No one needs to upgrade their iPad every 3 years, every 2 years, every 1 year. The thing is, people want to upgrade. People want the latest and greatest that's available today. If I'm spending $1,000, I want to know what's available today. I don't want to buy a product knowing that Apple is going to have a huge refresh next year. If they make little changes every single year, I'm okay with that. Because look, it's a little change here, a little change there every single year. I don't want to buy a product. I don't want to buy an iPhone 8 and the iPhone 10 comes out next year that changes everything and ruins the whole experience for me. I would like to know that. I would like to know Apple. Well, it says should they refresh the iPad Pro yearly alongside with the iPhone?
Pro, no,
yeah,
so like that's my
point. Yes, but we're answering we're answering both questions though, Scott. You want 50% credit. I want 100% credit. I'm gonna talk on both things here, okay? So we're talking the iPad and the iPhone. So yes, I would like them to continue to push forward innovation. Nothing happens in technology, unfortunately, until Apple does it. Wireless charging didn't take off. Android had wireless charging for 5-6 years before Apple. Once they added wireless charging, every single Starbucks you went to, every single McDonald's you went to had wireless charging in there. Real talk. And now when you go places, you see lightning cables. People are more prone to see wireless earbuds. I see so many AirPods walking around. I don't see Galaxy Buds walking around. I don't see any of these walking about.
Pro refresh. The annual iPad Pro does not need to be refreshed based on a whole litany of things that you just said a little bit ago. Obviously, I don't want the increment.
All right.
Damn, Kevin. Bro.
Adrian, man.
I'm tough side, bro. That's tough side. I feel you.
Adrian, we're going to start with you. Who you got?
She on the phone.
Uh-oh. All right, LB. You muted, LB.
Everybody's muted.
Yeah.
I got to go with Scott on this one. Scott, yeah, he took that one. He chose the best side of the argument and ran with it.
All right, Cobra, who you got on this one?
Straight heavyweight battle, but I got to go with Kevin. Nice work, man.
All right, Adrian, who you got?
So it's a tie.
Yes, tie so far.
So I'm breaking the tie, and I am going with Kevin. I'm so sorry, Scott. I'm so sorry.
I'm honestly shocked by that. I'll be honest.
All right. Well,
I was shocked by the last one, so it's good.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. So Scott, I'm gonna go off of this one with you. So Kevin, you won that round. So that means you get to choose your side of this next question. But I want to kind of play off of Scott's words on this one. If it's a software game, should the iPad Pro have a mobile version of Mac OS?
Oh, that's a good question.
So, Kevin, you got your side that you want to argue?
I'll defer.
Oh, Scott.
If it's a software game.
So, what are you going to do?
So can I ask a clarifying question?
Go ahead.
So are you talking about putting the mobile version would be Mac OS on an iPhone?
No, I'm talking about the iPad Pro.
Okay, so having Mac OS on the iPad Pro.
Yes, I'm saying it. Okay, so think about it like this. If it's a software game and the iPad Pro is considered a computer, should it have a mobile version of Mac OS? Yes or no?
Oh, got it. I'm following you now. Sorry, I got Mac OS and iPad OS. Okay, yeah, I'll go yes on this one.
Okay, he deferred, so that means you get to start. Are you ready?
Yep.
And go.
So Kevin's talked about it a lot in this particular bit. We talk about, I just mentioned in the last question that I should have won, the iPad Pro itself is a beefy enough piece of hardware that, yes, I do believe it has the ability to handle Mac OS. And I'm going to lean into the fact that I talked a lot about being a content creator. So there's one thing that if from me to MKBHJ to even Kevin himself, we talk about getting the I can't even think of the program right now. The Apple specific editing program. Why can't Final Cut? Jesus Christ, Final Cut Pro on my Mac OS. I would hands down have the ability to do a lot of the things that I would today if I had Final Cut Pro on my iPad Pro. I like LumaFusion, don't get me wrong, but there's something about actually using a finely tuned piece of Mac OS software that has the ability to be on an iPad Pro. For me, I'm at work a lot of the time. If I have some type of like 45 minutes of downtime, I would love to get a little bit of editing in. If I had to do it on my MacBook, it's a little bit heavier than having my iPad Pro, especially on the new one now. I can use a lot of the shortcut hotkeys that they have out there without having to learn LumaFusion a little bit more on something like that. So for me, if I have the ability to basically have a MacBook Pro, because there's a lot of the same specs from the iPad Pro map over to a very small base level line of a MacBook Pro. Think of the smaller version, the 8 gig version, not necessarily the 16. I have the ability to do a tremendous amount of stuff. Again, getting that same sleek design, portability, very, very easy. And I'm now on USB Type-C. So I have the ability to do a lot of stuff on my iPad. Whereas if I had the ability to go from my MacBook to that iPad, it would be super easy to do. Throw in another, you can basically get a MacBook Pro that is a super lightweight editing machine for even at the top end price, about $1,500, and a MacBook Pro at a moderate price, you're looking at about $3,000. So for half of the cost, I can get at least the same editing machine that I need in order to do the work that I'm doing. I have the same flexibility. It would be great if they had the ability to go from Mac OS to iPad OS, depending on what type of flavor or situation that I want to be in. But having the flexibility of having a mobile service or a mobile version like Mac OS on the iPad Pro would be great for me. My particular thing is the only reason I keep my MacBook Pro around is because I have Final Cut, and there's things that I want to do specific on the iPad or the MacBook Pro.
All right. Kevin, you know your side of the argument. Are you ready, sir?
Yeah, let's go.
Go.
So first of all, Scott, I love you, man. Great friend of mine. But it's egregious you compared yourself to Marquez and myself, first and foremost. Second of all, I think we need to talk about real people and their use cases. Of course, you're going to lean on being a content creator, right? But what makes an iPad great is that my 1.5-year-old kid can use it, right? He knows how to swipe to the right app, push the button, and get right into it. My mom, who's 71 years old, put it in front of a MacBook or a MacBook Air. She would have no idea what to do. She wouldn't know what settings to go into. She wouldn't know how to click around. She doesn't get it. People like to touch and feel certain things when they're actually using a product, and being able to touch this product and use it just makes a lot more sense than having to click around and go into Finder and command line and do all these extra things that someone who I might like to use or one of you guys may like to do, but most people just don't need all that right now. They need apps. So they can go into Google Docs and write a document up. They can go to Facebook and use Facebook instead of being on their computer having to deal with file locations where they're saving things due. iPad just makes it a lot easier for people. They don't have to know where files go and things like that. I think the ball game is so different now because everything is software based. And of course, giving them something that is giving them access to the same OS that's on their phone, that's on their MacBook, that's on their iPad, just makes more sense to get synergy between the two, and they know where everything is at all times. And of course, we talk about continuity and having apps sync up. When you have a Facebook app on your phone and have a Facebook app on your iPad, they're going to look the same. Is there a Facebook app for Mac OS? Mac OS app development is so far behind iOS app development. It's not even funny. And you're not even mentioning games. Gaming on an iPad is so fun. It is so great. Gaming on Mac OS is not a good experience. And AAA titles are even coming out for the iPad now because they can tap into the hardware, not worrying about the software, tap into the hardware and do exactly what they need to do. Also, as far as updating apps get updated way faster on iPad OS than it actually does on Mac OS. So Mac OS is great for many people, but it doesn't make sense to move the iPad software over to the Mac OS. Mac OS the iPad should just be the way it is, shouldn't change it. It's great. And of course, sales on iPads go up and sales on laptops go down for a specific reason. That's how I feel.
By the way, everybody's talking about beef in the chat. I have zero idea what's going on.
Oh, no. Me and Scott are cool. Like, we're in a chat every day. We're just having fun. Beef is like when you have conflict.
I have no,
people,
I think somebody said beefy.
Oh,
and that's where it went, but I don't know. So
okay.
All right, you guys got 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Again, let's talk about what the actual words in the question were there, Kevin. I'm not sure you mentioned it. Should the iPad Pro have a mobile version? Yes, I think it should. This is, again, the power of choice that you get into. I am by no means saying it needs to replace iPad OS. I think it has to have the ability to have a mobile version of Mac OS. For me, if I have the ability to go back and forth between, the power of choice for me gives me everything that I need. I can shut off maybe one half of the iPad and get that Mac OS version that I want, but then go back to if I want to play Farmville or Plants vs. Zombies, like maybe people still do, I have the ability to use and fully utilize the iPad OS. At no point does the question say, does it replace? But should the iPad Pro have a mobile version? I would say yes, it should have the mobile version of a power of choice for Mac OS. It makes the iPad Pro, for me, that much more powerful. If I have an all-in-one machine, a fully entertainment tablet using iPad OS versus actually having a mobile version of Mac OS, which is what I need to do part of what my job is, yeah, I would love the power of choice. So yes, I think they should have a mobile version of the Mac OS. Definitely didn't say anything about replacing iPad OS, but it should be available for the power of choice for the consumers out there.
So I'm basing my answer off the question. The question is should. It doesn't say, like I said, it doesn't say anything about replacing, but it doesn't say anything about not replace, but it doesn't say anything about not replacing as well. So I'm taking it based off replacing it, and I don't think it should be replaced at all. The power of choice is great, but many consumers don't want to make that choice. You have to understand that
give them
Apple
both.
makes so many decisions for people every single day, and most people enjoy the decision that Apple has made. So yes,
both.
the iPad should definitely stay the way it is. Why confuse the consumer? My mom's going to call me up saying, I'm over here and I can't, I got to find her popping up and all these things happening.
Like, it would only be for those people that know where they're going to for the Mac OS. It's just the same situation, because right now you can actually get Windows on a Mac. But you can get Windows on a Mac right now, and they have it on their website exactly how you get Windows right on your iPad. Why couldn't you? Yeah, with Boot Camp, why couldn't you do that with Mac OS?
But the question is,
should do the same thing.
Should it have a mobile version? So in my opinion, it should not have this mobile. It should not have this mobile version on the iPad. The iPad needs to be mobile. The iPad needs to be mobile. It's not a Mac OS thing. The iPad is a mobile device that you can do so many great things on and have that in-app experience. Though,
but the iPad can be a Windows machine. So should it have the ability to get a Windows machine? Well, clearly it should have, because they wouldn't have put Boot Camp out there to have it. So yes, it should have the power of choice to have Mac OS. It would make the most sense, since it's already allowing a Windows machine. It would make the most sense to have what a great OS for Mac actually is. Why not teaming up iPad OS and Mac OS? Then you have a super machine.
If you're taking the question that way, then that's already happened, because on the iPad you can run a Mac OS emulator. That's what you want. You want a Mac OS emulator, which is already happening. So I'm going to take that. So I'm going to take the question as, should it be replaced? Should it be replaced? Should it be in place of what we have today? And the answer is a definite no, because that's what ruins the iPad. The iPad sales have always gone up, and laptop has always gone down, because ease of use from a 5-year-old to a 70-year-old, when they grab this product, they know you can't change the question, Scott. Stop trying to
That's
why your camera's frozen. That's why your camera's frozen.
iPad Pro have a mobile version. If you already have a version of Windows, why not have Mac OS?
But once again, you're talking about the very small percentage of people that actually do that, though. We're talking about normal people here, Scott. This conversation is not for you and I. It's about normal people and the way people use things. You want that OS experience that people like and people know every day. From a 5-year-old to an 80-year-old, when they grab an iPad, they know how to use it. When you put them in Mac OS, they are lost. They don't know what's going on. They're confused. They got windows and tabs open in the background, stuff popping up. They don't know what's happening when you're in the OS.
Website with Boot Camp? That to me sounds awfully weird. Like they say that Windows.
But that's not the question. That's not the question, Scott.
Yeah, but my question would be, should you have a Mac OS? Well, if you already have a Windows OS, why wouldn't you have a Mac OS? And Apple supports that.
The iPad runs Windows OS?
That's what the Boot Camp is. You just said that earlier. And
on the iPad?
Yeah, on the iPad. Okay. Does it not? Is that what you just said?
It runs an emulator. Yeah, it does, but it runs the emulator for Mac too. You can run an emulator on an iPad. Sure, of course you can. So that's why but that's why the question is about it running natively, not having to do things third party to get it working.
I don't want it to do third party.
No.
If Apple already,
all right.
I guess my screen.
That's me buzzing. Yeah, no? me and Scott's cameras are just the cam links are not helping us out tonight. So
it's definitely not.
All right. So we're gonna start with Adrian. Who do you have for this round?
At least they could have picked a better looking picture for me. Jesus Christ.
Well, damn, can I talk?
All right.
You can talk.
Okay. The winner for this round is Kevin.
Okay. Cobra, who's the winner for this round?
Kevin came with the haymakers on that round.
All right, LB, who's the winner for this round? You're muted.
You look Scott. You look shot, Scott. You look Scott shot.
I was gonna say, it's not a
You
good
look shocked.
LB, who's the winner for this round?
I gotta give it. I gotta give it to Kevin. I mean, Scott put up a fight, but I gotta give it to Kevin on that.
All right. So that's 2 knockouts. So Scott, you got 1 question to bring you back, and we're gonna revisit a question from earlier in the battle royale.
But can you take that picture down, please?
I'm trying to get it to. I'm trying to get it to fix. It ain't fixing. Cam link ain't
Nah,
working.
it ain't fixing. It ain't fixing. Okay. All right. Well, Kevin, you knocked him out twice. So, and by the way, the score is looking, Scott, I love you, man, but you're not gonna come back. by the way, the score is looking, because it's 9-4 right now. You're not gonna be able to come back. So, Kevin, you came in and won your first time coming in a tech fight, man. So
yeah, I do I get a speech? Like what happens? What happens here?
Yeah, you can get a speech.
I want to know why they picked you straight up.
Scott wants a recount. Look, guys, this was fun. We got to do it again. Scott, you invited me. I don't know why you invited me of all people, man. I'll bite you, man. I'll go for it. But this is an open invite. Me and Scott versus anybody. Let's go. Let's go.
We gotta
Open
get
invite.
Andrew in here. Let them go against Andrew.
Oh yeah. I could eat Andrew for dinner. Easy work. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me. I love you guys. Talk to you later.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Yep. See ya. Bye.
Good job, man.
All right, guys.
I still can't get my picture to stop.
Yeah,
take it off.
We're just gonna leave Scott's picture up there.
That's
All right.
fine.
So, Scott, in that last round, it was very, very close, and then Kevin came at you, and it was like, okay, it's Kevin's.
Hey, Scott.
I appreciate that. I have zero idea. The points for that for me is like he argued the points for me.
Scott, hey Scott, put your picture back up.
Hang on. I'll put it up. Life comes at you fast.
look, ain't that a bitch?
Put it back up there, Mike. Put it back up.
Oh man. All right, well, folks. So we started off as a battle royale, and then we got to see one of the dopest tech creators, content creators out there. Kevin the Tech Ninja decided to jump in, and I mean, Scott, you guys gave us probably one of the most entertaining fights we've had in a long time.
I want the record to show that is 2 back-to-back times where I've gotten the shaft. But I have put up a damn good fight. It's been entertaining as hell. I'm just going to tell people this right now.
You know what?
I might be 0-2, but I don't think so. I still would argue with anybody at all on that.
Bring somebody in right now. Let them argue.
Look. You came up.
Actually, you know what? No. Since even though Kevin is gone, and Kevin technically won the fight between him and Scott, LB and Scott.
Let's go.
Should companies continue to release $1,000 phones?
Hey, let's do it.
LB, what side are you going to choose?
Hey, Scott, I just want to say, Scott, you were like all the teams in the 90s in the NBA that had to face Jordan, man. You put up a hell of a fight, man.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, so
appreciate you.
LB, since you
I'm gonna pull a cat daddy on this one. I diverse.
Okay.
I'll let Scott choose.
All right, Scott, what you got?
What question am I on?
We're revisiting the question: should companies continue to release $1,000 phones?
Okay. No, they shouldn't. So am I getting 2.5 or a minute, or what are we doing?
You're getting a 2.5. We're getting one more bonus round with just you and LB. LB wanted it so bad.
All right. So no, Absolutely not. The company should not continue to do this. We've determined a lot, especially when we get into now the Pixel 3a XL. I'm going to go with Pixel. Now we're going to talk about the iPhone here in a minute. Pixel 3a XL. Now you're getting that rumor $399 price tag for the Pixel 4a. And guess what? When you go and check a lot of the things that most consumers worry about, it's photos first and foremost. So if I'm looking at a cheaper price, when I'm looking at the 3a XL or the 4a at this point at less than $500, I'm getting equal, if not better, photo results from everything that's not named iPhone at this point. But keep in mind that the iPhone, in some instances, is more than $1,000. So now I have a Pixel 4a XL, a Pixel 3a XL that I'm spending less than $500 for, and I'm getting as good a photo quality, which is far and away the number one thing that consumers are worried about. I don't have to spend $1,000, especially when I can get awesome battery life. I can get great results in terms of my photos. So there's that particular bit. That's the Android side. We can also talk about OnePlus and how all those other things. Their McLaren edition is still not $1,000. So, okay, let's push that aside where the Apple or the Android high-end flagship type specs out there, less than $1,000. Now, there's a whole reason why Apple's coming up with the XR line, why the XR line was actually one, if not the top selling iPhone line. It was because it was less than $1,000. You don't have to spend $1,000 to get all of the nice things and the niceties to have, aka the pictures being first and foremost. You don't have to spend $1,000 in order for it to pull that off. Apple is going to go with the iPhone 9, which will inevitably be less than $1,000, and you're still getting the same hardware goodness because this is still a software game. So if I can spend anywhere between $500, $600, $700, definitely not $1,000. So no, you shouldn't have to continue to release $1,000 devices because you are now beating everybody in the software game. So if I can spend more money in the software, which is going to save me overall from a company perspective because I don't have to go out and acquire hardware parts, then I can actually drop the price from a consumer perspective. And there's really no reason to buy a $1,000 device for the majority of consumers. Yeah, you're going to have the niche people like us tech folks that go out there and buy $1,300 devices because we're niche. The average consumer does not need to spend $1,000 on a device because the majority of the stuff that they're going to go for is just stuff that you can spend anywhere between $400 and $600 for, and it's more than enough.
Yeah. What in the world?
That was me.
I was going to assume that was my.
that was your buzzer. Since we don't have the other shots, we ain't got that going on. So that was your buzzer. All right, LB, you got 2.5 minutes. You heard his argument. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Do you know your side of the argument?
I do.
And your time starts now.
All right, I want to make this short and sweet for the simple fact that all I heard Scott talk about was one customer, one consumer base. Companies are out there to make money. Therefore, they're out there to sell to everyone, not just one niche of the market, not just one part of the market, but they're there to sell to everyone. They're there to sell to the budget consumer, the mid-range consumer, and the top-end, high-end consumer. Same thing in the car industry. You have your entry-level car, you have your subcompact, your mid-size, and you have your flagship, which is a luxury car. Okay, so companies want to make their money all the way across the board, not just in one sector. Therefore, the $1,000 plus phone is there for the luxury item. It's there for the flagship. It's there for the cream of the crop. I want everything in this device person that wants to buy a device. Okay, not the majority of the market that can afford to pay for it. That's what it's there for. If they can't afford the $1,000 phone, they buy a mid-range. Not complain about it. They just buy a mid-range and wait until they can afford a $1,000 phone. So therefore, it's a company. They're there to sell to everybody. There's no need to go any further.
Oh. All right. So LB, you're leaving a whole minute on the clock. So I'm gonna give you guys 5. And now this is just obviously it's a bonus round. So but we'll see who wins. You guys got 5 minutes. Go.
So you talk a lot about like you have to have all these different price points. Like, so it's basically you're talking about Toyota, Jaguar, and all this other stuff. But if the majority, let's say 60% of the people out there in the market right now is someone who's going to spend $600 on the phone, and another 20% on top of that going to spend maybe $800 on the phone. You're talking maybe 20% of the people that would buy $1,000 phone, and the only reason that they're buying $1,000 phone is because the company makes it that way. There was a long time where you no. There was a long time before you had like even the next line. And look, you have iPhones right now. The only reason people are buying $1,000 iPhones because they feel like they have to buy the one that's up there. If they don't make it, then they don't have to buy it.
What's 20% of $1 million? That's a lot of money for me to leave on the table. So therefore, I'm going to make a phone for every single price category that I can.
No, but you can actually, if you don't have to buy, you don't have to make that. You could save that money in R&D and all this other research before you don't have to make that thing. If you're only going to be selling to like 5 or 10%, that's why Rolls Royces don't sell out like they're buying a Toyota. There's a reason why that doesn't exist.
According to your logic, 5 or 10%, that means Apple hasn't been selling phones for years.
What?
Apple's been selling phones like
right, and that's the reason why their XR is their best-selling iPhone. Somebody in the comments actually talked about the iPhone 10 being one of the top sellers. There's no reason to release a $1,000 device. You don't have to. You're already selling phones that are significantly less than that. If you can sell the majority of your phones significantly less than that, what's the point?
11 Pro Maxes? Did they not sell any 11 Pro Maxes? Do they leave that money on the table? A company is not going to leave money on the table.
You don't have to leave that money on the table. If you save those, if you save that money in research dollars and you dump that into the iPhone 10 or the XR, there's a reason why you don't have to have that. You don't have to continue to release a $1,000 device when you have people just lined up to buy the $600 device.
With your logic, with your logic, OnePlus should sell everybody phones then, because their price
OnePlus does sell everybody phones. OnePlus sells a bunch of great phones for way less than $1,000.
Okay, so that means that everyone is buying a OnePlus because the price is right. No, people are buying the 11 Pro Max because they wanted the battery, they wanted the extra camera, they wanted the cream of the crop. Those folks that bought it, that's why they bought it.
For the majority of people, people don't buy the cream of the crop. The majority of the folks are just going to buy that because they want an iPhone. The majority of people want that little blue bubble. That's what the people want.
So what you're saying is that Apple is losing money on one of their top phones. Is that what you're
literally never said any of those words?
Apparently, because you're telling me that's not a consumer that exists. Apple is selling that phone because there is a consumer that will pay $1,000 or more for a phone.
But those consumers would continue to buy the cheaper version of the iPhone because the iPhones are good. It doesn't matter. They don't have to make the iPhone 11 Pro Max. They could have made the 10 or the 9 and the X, and it would have been fine at less than $1,000.
Something for every sector.
They don't have to make something for everybody. They just have to make something that people want to buy, and it's called any Apple.
That's why it's called a flagship. You don't buy it unless you can afford it. It's the top of the ranking. You're going to pay the most for it.
You don't have to do that though. If you just say like my top ranked phone right now is an $800 phone, that's exactly what OnePlus's model is. My McLaren edition is $750. Just go buy that one.
Scott, but this is the thing. There are people that will buy it. As long as there are people that will, you make it. That's it.
But that's a lot of money that you're spending on that type of research.
That's a business sense. That's just common business sense.
If you dump that into your $1,000 device, that less than $1,000 device would be incredible because you don't have to waste money on hardware. Your profit margins would actually go up. People would
I'm hearing people say the Apple's entry-level device is the greatest. It's perfect as it is.
Less than $1,000. So now I've saved all that money from an R&D perspective, and people are still going to buy an iPhone.
But then you still have the consumer that is buying the $1,000 plus device. They exist. This is what you're not recognizing, Scott. That consumer exists. As long as that consumer exists, you build a device for that consumer.
That consumer doesn't have to buy that. That's my point.
So you're saying that consumer doesn't have to exist?
Apple could save that money from the perspective of the iPhone 11 Pro Max because a 10 is going to be perfect.
They're trying to make money, bro. They're not trying to save money. They're trying to make money. And they don't want to leave money on the table.
Because there's a reason why that top selling the XR is top selling. If that point is their profit margins are higher because those same people that would have bought an iPhone 11 Pro Max would probably buy the XR as well. So that means they don't have to.
Did you say the profit margin?
Man, that worked out really good. I might need to do that every time. All right.
Tons up.
So since we only have 5 people here, I'm gonna let the chat be one of the judges, and then I'm gonna chime in as the last judge. But we're gonna start with my man Cobra. Cobra, who you got for this final round?
LB brought it. LB, you won that round. Nice job, my man.
Oh man, Adrian, who do you have?
LeBaron Burton, the armchair YouTuber.
Oh, see, I got to say that I'm actually gonna go with Scott, but I want to see what the chat.
And that would be a very bad decision on your part. I'm gonna tell you, if Scott wanted to win this question, Scott knows that LB runs a business. You should have took the side that you knew that he could not defend.
Well, I just showed Scott.
I didn't think you could defend either side.
Look. I just showed Scott because I ain't got another knockout question. So, Scott, you know I love you, but I ain't got no more questions, man. I'm sorry. All right. Well, either way. So I'm just gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here because we're coming up on 2 hours now, and you guys know how we normally do. We get it from about 9 to 11 o'clock, and man. So first and foremost, we got to say a big shout out to Eric Drummond, Tech for Your Needs, and Cecil Betty for jumping in on the Battle Royale. Thank you, 3 gentlemen, very much for stepping up to the plate. Now, for those of you in the chat that watched and wanted to know more about it, I think what I'll do is I will do a live stream here sometime soon, and I'm not going to make it a long one, and I will just explain the Battle Royale a little bit better. And then I'll leave that stream up for anybody who has questions so we don't have to waste too much time explaining it over and over again after every question is asked. So that way, if you have any questions, I would defer you to that stream. But for now, I'm going to thank the 3 individuals that jumped in to get it cracking and popping. And then I'm going to say Scott jumped in initially. Scott was ready to be a fighter tonight, period. Scott really didn't even want to judge.
I didn't.
Yeah, Scott didn't want to judge. He was going to jump into Battle Royale and whoop some ass. So Kevin showing up just kind of made it the icing on the cake. So to Kevin, the Tech Ninja, Kevin Nether, and to you, Mr. Scott Peachy, sir, thank you so much for an entertaining.
Yeah, nice job.
Just
Much respect to Scott.
I appreciate it.
Much respect.
Yeah, you anybody watching right now, this is what a tech fight is. This is what the tech fight is. So, Cat Daddy, you won the Battle Royale because you were the last man standing in the Battle Royale. So you won the Battle Royale. So yeah, Cat Daddy won the Battle Royale since he wants to know. But like I said, man, we appreciate it.
So does he get a gift card?
Yes, Cat Daddy will get a $50 Amazon gift card since he was the last man standing.
Ballin'.
Yes. Oh snap. Yes, buy all the bonnets you want with it. So, Cobra, my man, I appreciate you making yourself available tonight to judge. I sure appreciate you,
my man.
Now since you judge one time, you got to fight next time.
He sure does.
Ready. I'm ready, dog. After seeing all the arguments, I'm ready.
And you better bring it because I'll hand you an L real quick.
Oh, I'm ready.
I know that one
ready.
too.
Okay, so Cat Daddy said, "Give it to someone else." Okay, all right, I shall give it to someone else then. Adrian, thank you for jumping in on your off night.
I know.
Much appreciated.
Who did Cat Daddy beat?
Cat Daddy beat Tech for Your Needs, so Tech for Your Needs will be the one to get it.
Yeah.
So Tech for Your Needs, check your DM sometime in the next couple of days. You will get a $50 Amazon gift code promotion from me. And
spend it on the mic.
So who gets the second place Amazon gift card?
Eric Drummond. We only had 3 people, so it's gonna be Eric Drummond and Tech for Your Needs. So
Tech for Your Needs, yeah.
You'll get a $50 one, and Eric Drummond, you'll get a $25 one. So that'll be coming your way soon, gentlemen. And you never know, man. LB might throw some popcorn in on the next Battle Royale, man. He might help. He might hook somebody up with some flavors, man. You never know.
Oh yeah.
But LB, thank you for making yourself available because
Definitely.
LB was there at the last second, so thank you for making yourself available. And I don't know, man. I might need to see Kevin and Scott against Andrew and
No, just against Andrew. Let Andrew go by himself.
Y'all heard it. Spread the word. Tell Andrew that they
I mean, unless Andrew is scared, y'all go tweet him.
I'll message Kevin afterwards and be like, he needs to get with his boy.
Hey, look, it ain't like anybody doing anything. So, but all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and close it out.
Wait, how come El Jefe has never been on?
El Jefe usually I can't say why he's never been on before, but tonight I wanted to reach out to him, but he was taking care of the fam. So
because I'm just saying you can do one on a tech fight on audio and get El Jefe in as a contestant.
El Jefe, El Jefe,
Yes, I called you out.
El Jefe is in the chat doing work. He's linking
the LB stuff.
El Jefe is doing his job as the head of security. He is not worried about being a fighter.
Who else has an audio channel for him to go against?
GameSki.
Yeah.
I would love
Board at work.
I would love to see him and GameSki and Board at Work either go against or be judges in an audio battle because they will be the ones to beat.
Look,
El Jefe, stop playing. You know you just got called out.
He's talking about buffering.
Bandwidth.
Well, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and close it for the night. I appreciate everybody for stopping through. Thank you to everybody for the super chats. El Jefe, you included. And we're going to go ahead and see you guys later. We will catch y'all next time.
All right, y'all.
All right, man. Thanks, Mike.